think JVL made the point that a lot of people are playing. They're kind of metagaming against the tokens decks.
Sure.
And playing like Whip Flare and Ratchet Bomb. Well, Whip Flare does nothing to Tempered Steel, and Ratchet Bomb doesn't do much either.
Right. So we have, looks like Michael Belfatto is going to go Glinthawk, Bounce Mox, Recast, where Nolen just has the Sea-Chrome Coast.
Yeah,
no one drop for him.
The cat's out of the bag. Michael is playing Tempered Steel. And we have a Thought Scour.
What do you think of that card, Joey?
I love it. I think it's great. Just kind of, it works great, especially with Delver. And that was something that we were talking about before was, some of the Delver lists from last week did not play Thought Scour, and we thought, this card looks perfect in this deck, and especially with something like Snapcaster Mage, where not only does it fuel your Snapcaster Mage, but it's a great way to make Snapcaster Mage into a cantrip at instant speed.
Yep.
So, love it. Glinthawk gets in, and Inkmoth Nexus.
For Glinthawk Idol, which gets mana leaked. Yeah. Also, really great art on Thought Scour. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot too.
Sort of the anti-sensory deprivation for me.
Yeah.
That card makes me cry. So we have a Ponder for Nolen Lauren. Looks like he's picking up, Ponder, Snapcaster, and a third blue card that we can't see. And so Nolen Lauren's list, pretty standard. He's running both Sword of War and Peace and Runechanter's Pike.
Two swords and one pike.
Yep.
I love the Dungeon Geists main deck.
Yeah, Evan Irwin was nuts about that card when it got spoiled. I mean, I know Evan Irwin getting nuts about a card is a rarity.
Right.
But this one actually seems to be bearing out. So Michael Belfatto, it's now his turn 3. Drops Gavany Township,
I think that's Gavany Township.
That's Gavany Township, yep. Swings with Glinthawk and into another Glinthawk. Still does not have Metalcraft, still does not have a Tempered Steel. But
he's doing okay, though.
He's turning guys sideways. He's doing okay for himself. Nolen Lauren at 16 life.
And Nolen doesn't have much pressure either. There's a Dismember for one of the Glinthawks.
Which puts Nolen even further down. He'll be at 12.
Yeah, it's one of those, I'll trade you, I'll let it be like you attacked me twice with that Glinthawk.
Sure.
But,
so we go into Nolen Lauren's 4th turn.
Looks like he's got a land to play, Glacial Fortress.
He's got a land, he has a mana leak.
I think he has a Plains still in hand.
Yep.
So Plains, mana leak, Ponder, and something else.
Yep. This seems like a very loose hand to keep.
Yeah, it's very blue-white control. Honestly, it doesn't look like a Delver deck.
Are there Day of Judgments in Nolen's deck?
I don't think so.
No,
but I mean, the way he held or the way his hand is looking, it looks very creature light.
Yep.
So is it a Snapcaster? It is. It's Snapcaster. That's what the other card is.
Another card we don't see very much of in Standard.
Yeah, not enough of anyway. So there's a Ponder.
Yep. So let's see if Nolen has a Snapcaster. I mean, he can rebuy on Thought Scour if he wants to.
Yep.
As you said, turn it into a cantrip 2/1. He is holding. He has one mana leak in the graveyard, another in the grip.
Mm-hmm.
So that could, well, not this turn at least, but future turns be sort of a nice tempo play.
Right.
Especially if Michael's trying to stick a Tempered Steel, But I don't know this. Oh, and Nolen Lauren decides to upheaval himself, sort of. But that is the correct board state, so we're fine on that.
Yeah, we need more upheaval in Standard.
No, you're wrong. You're right about a lot of things, Joey, but not on that.
That's fair. I don't think I was right either. Then.
Fair. All right, so Michael Belfatto says here, have some more Hawk. And Nolen's like, yeah, I got a Snapcaster for that. And what's it?
Snapcaster
so he rebuys the Dismember. Ouch. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
he's really doing a lot of damage to himself here, but maybe he just feels like Michael doesn't have much pressure.
he's actually done more damage to himself on Dismembers than Michael has done to him with Glint Hawks.
Yeah.
But fortunately, Michael has Glint Hawk number 3. Passes back to Nolen. And so we now have land number 5 for Nolen in a deck with only 21, including his Singleton Plains. And he's just got to be wishing for something.
Yeah.
Some kind of action.
It's looking rough. So Nolen gets in with the Snapcaster. And there's a Dungeon Geist.
Oh.
So this is exciting for me, because this is the first time I've seen Dungeon Geist on camera, and I love that card too. When I saw Evan talking about it, I was kicking myself for editing out the part where I talked about Dungeon Geist on my podcast. I was like, we recorded for like an hour and a half. I need to cut some of this stuff, so I cut the discussion on Dungeon Geist, and then I'm like, oh, people actually like this card, you know? Like, maybe I should have left it in.
It seems fine now. I mean, Michael Belfatto has a board of Memnite, effectively Memnite and blanks,
right,
against Dungeon Geist.
Yeah, I mean, my first impression of it was. Wait a second.
What?
He activated the Inkmoth Nexus with the white, didn't he? That's what it was.
Okay, yeah.
That's the artifact.
Okay.
So he tapped the plains, activated Inkmoth.
Yep. Gets in with Inkmoth arbitrarily.
What did he actually cast to deal with the Dungeon Geist?
I believe that was a Dispatch.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Which would make sense, but
I was so concerned with looking at the lands he tapped and how he got the mana that didn't realize what he was using it for. I missed it.
Nolen Lawrence sticks a Moorland Haunt with just one creature in the den, I believe, right now, the Dungeon Geist.
Yeah, he doesn't have. It's really weird. This Delver deck doesn't look like a Delver deck at all.
No, he's running 13 creatures.
And we've seen 2 of them.
Yep, he's running a ton of draw me more cards. And he's looking more like a blue-white control right now.
Yeah. He's basically drawn counter spells and draw spells. And a couple, one Dismember.
So Nolen cracks in, Michael takes. Michael still does not have Metalcraft without his Inkmoth Nexus. That's kind of awkward. Or Hawkward. I'm very clever.
The former name of the deck, right?
Yeah. The Vector Asp rendition. Gosh, that card is terrible.
It's funny, like, until Nolen played that Moorland Haunt, do you wonder if Michael didn't realize he was playing against Delver? Because at this point now, like, the Moorland Haunt kind of makes it seem like, all right, I got to be playing against Delver. But
sure,
otherwise.
But I mean, is blue-white control really a deck? In this
no, format? But it's one of those things where he may be wondering too. Like, do I not overextend into a Wrath? Am I playing against? Who knows?
Sure.
Today, I mean, we've seen mono-black zombies. We've seen blue-black control, which it isn't so crazy, but. We've seen a lot of different kind of decks. We've seen werewolves today win a match.
Wow.
Mary Jacobson piloting werewolves, yeah.
Wow.
To a win on camera.
When Mary was living in Roanoke, she used to play at the FNM at Star City Games, and she would just jam vampires all day long.
So
and she had,
from vampires to werewolves.
She had like pictures of Edward Cullen on her deck box. And now she's flipped sides. Now she's Team Jacob.
Team Jacob, yeah, I guess.
And it's really embarrassing for me that I can reference that.
It's all right.
I'm getting heckled by our director.
Hey, no
and
heckling.
To be fair, I deserve it. So Nolen Lawrence at 5. He's looking kind of rough right now, but he's got Snapcaster. He
Snapcaster Thought Scoured, and then and then he activated Moorland Haunt to get a Spirit.
Yep.
Off of the Dungeon Geist, presumably.
Yep. So.
Oh no, it was off the Delver that he dumped in there.
Sure. It's still looking rough though. I mean, 5 life is not where you want to be against Tempered Steel.
And he did 8 of it to himself, so.
Right. So, if you're Nolan Lauren at this point, what do you want to draw? What are your outs? I mean,
Day of Judgment. Oh, he doesn't play that.
No,
Right,
Sword of War and Peace, maybe.
yeah, that could certainly certainly give him a little bit of breathing room. I think. I mean, it probably just gets chump blocked. Whoever. Well, I mean, if he puts it on the Spirit, then Spirit gets chump blocked by Inkmoth Nexus, possibly.
Right.
So it may not even that may not give him enough time.
Right.
Michael's at a healthy 16 or 14 here, I guess, if he took some damage from that Snapcaster.
Yep.
But that's pretty. You're fine at 16 or 14 life right now.
Yeah, I'd be comfortable with that. So 14-5 in favor of Michael Belfatto here in round 7 of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open here in Sharonville, Ohio. For those of you just joining in, I'm Nicholas Sabin here with Joey Pasco. We are in round 7 watching Michael Belfatto with a fairly strong advantage right now, I would say, against Nolan Lauren.
Yeah, it seemed like both players sort of stumbled, but Nolan continues to stumble in a way. Like, even though he kept drawing cards, it's just not.
Yeah,
he's not drawing the cards that you'd think that you'd get eventually,
right.
Like Delver, like Geist of St. Traft.
Yeah, a Geist here would be great. I mean, what is if Nolan was able to stick a Geist of St. Traft, Michael, I mean, his best case scenario is he loses his Glint Hawk,
right,
which is not great.
On yellow paper.
Oh.
The CF board is located just to the left of the concession stand.
Gavany
Once
Township.
again, your parent
What a
are
pumps all the
located
guys,
on
and,
the C2F board.
we may be seeing
On the
game
yellow
2
paper,
here
please
momentarily.
find your seat. Legacy Challenge players.
Pump all the men's.
Yeah, I don't know what Nolan could do. He's got double land Mana Leak, I think, in his hand. Pretty sure it's Island Mana Leak.
We're gonna see the GG pretty soon, I think. And Gavany Township, really interesting addition in Temperance Seal, I think, Joey.
Yeah, that's something that I haven't really seen much of. Gavany Township in a Tempered Steel deck, and he's got is that at 3? Looks like 3 copies.
Yep.
If you finish with 2 or more wins, you can collect your prize at the main event stage.
Those of you listening at home right now can hear the dulcet tones of Jared Silva calling out yet another side event of which we've run approximately infinite today. People seem to like drafting
rough number there.
The Innistrad block.
Yeah, people love Innistrad block.
So Nolan Lauren's clinging on there. He's at 2 life. But I mean, gosh, I don't know. What is Nolan hoping?
Yeah,
to
I don't
draw
know.
here?
I don't know if he's hoping to get a misplay or a miracle or both. Could be one and the same.
Yeah, they've spent 20 minutes on this game alone, and obviously, if Nolan's probably not going to win this one, unfortunately, and trying to squeeze 2 games plus sideboarding.
Yeah, into basically
30 minutes.
30 minutes, so 31 minutes left.
Even with relatively aggressive decks, is not necessarily going to be very easy.
Yeah.
Can you think of a reason, Joey, why Nolan would be hanging on right now?
No, actually, I don't. I just think he may not be thinking about the amount of time, or he may be thinking he's got a way out of this. I mean, maybe he watched Worlds and saw Conley do it against against Craig Wesco, and went, I can do that too. With the other deck, though, it was Conley had the Tempered Steel deck in that situation.
And there's the GG from Nolan Lauren. That was a pretty brutal game.
Yeah, Nolan really just did not see any of his business spells. He kept seeing cards like Ponder and Thought Scour, and Snapcaster, to be fair, is pretty awesome, and he did get 2 dismembers out of it, but that just did almost half the work for Michael. I mean, think about that. He just now lost after doing 8 damage to himself. Michael only needed to deal 12 damage, and it took him that long to do that.
Yeah,
It is kind of crazy to think about that.
Please find your seats. Once again, that is.
So, looking at the sideboards for these 2 players, it looks like Nolan has Faith Shield, Revoke Existence, Divine Offering is probably a card in this match. O-Ring, Ratchet Bomb. He's got another Dungeon Geist in the sideboard.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I like the dungeon guys. See, the thing with Ratchet Bomb is that Tempered Steel has so many varying casting costs. You got like Memnite, and you got Glinthawk, and you've got Tempered Steel itself.
I mean, yeah, you've got 1-drop, 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 2-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop.
Well, Memnite's a 0-drop.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
Memnite.
So that's what I'm saying. Like it's like Ratchet Bomb kills all the Memnites.
Yep.
Okay, it's just it's almost like Tempered Steel is pretty well positioned against something like Ratchet Bomb because it's going to be like a 1-for-1, and then it's going to sometimes take so much time to even get to that point when they're I'm going to use my Ratchet Bomb to take out your Tempered Steel, but it's going to take me 3 or 4 turns or whatever basically to get to that point. Meanwhile, you're killing me with
yeah, 3 turns
guys.
with Tempered Steel on the board is not going to get you there.
It's nice though. I mean, I got to say Ratchet Bomb is nice to take out Mox Opals and Memnites, but there's never more than one Mox Opal on board, so you're never getting more than one of those. So it's basically the best you can hope for is Mox and like Memnite or possibly multiple Memnites.
Possibly.
Or you're gonna have to work for it. So
right. So for Michael Belfatto's sideboard, what here do you think Michael? I mean, he didn't really have much difficulty that game, but what does he want from this list?
I assume he knows he's playing against Delver, in which case, if he feels like he knows he's playing against Delver, which he definitely saw a Delver in the list. I wonder if he thinks it's some sort of rogue variety because there was no actual action. But
I mean, possible.
Yeah, we're going to assume he knows it's a Delver list, and if he says, all right, it's a stock Delver list, I want Divine Offering.
Sure.
For the equipment. I maybe even, trying to think of what exactly he would expect Nolen to do, and maybe shift things around. I mean, he'd maybe play. I was thinking Hero of Bladehold, but that might not be so great with a deck that has probably 4 Vapor Snags, which of course Nolen's does have 4 Vapor Snags and 4 Snapcaster Mages. So Hero may not be the best option there.
Please report to the side of the stage if you're in the room. Devin McBride,
Oh yeah,
please report
Surgical
to the side of the
Extraction
stage.
seems like a pretty good choice there.
Seems very saucy.
Right, especially with Nolen playing the Thought Scours to dump things in the graveyard. And just give you Surgical Extraction targets, but. He's got an O-ring. He's got a lot of like kind of one ofs, 2 ofs in his board.
Yeah, it seems like I don't know. When I make sideboards, usually I just have a couple cards where I'm like, I want 4 of these and 4 of these and 3 of these.
Yeah.
I mean, is that how do you?
I guess I do it differently depending on what I feel like, what deck I'm playing, and what I think I'm weak to, and sometimes it's just a situation of upgrades where I go, okay, well, I want Flash Freeze because I'm playing against a mono green deck and I can, not play Mana Leak or something. Like maybe I just upgrade my Mana Leaks into Flash Freezes, something like that. Or if I feel like I want a lot of counter spells against this deck, I'm going to bring in Flash Freezes and keep the Mana Leaks and take out something else. Right. So it's, but a lot of times I do a lot of kind of.
Devin McBride, please report to the stage.
I like to have kind of cards that do similar things but in different ways, or like maybe some different cards. Like maybe I have a couple of Flash Freezes, a couple of Negates or something,
right?
Rather than 4 Flash Freeze,
right?
Even though they're counter spells, but they're gonna kind of fill different roles.
So Nolen Lauren has a grip of, I saw a Geist of St. Traft, 2 of them as a matter of fact. Spellbomb Memnite for Belfatto. Lauren Thought Scours for Snapcaster, and he did bring in the Ratchet Bomb.
Yeah,
to the main event stage, please. Coy Nettleton, please report to the main event stage.
Draws Delver of Secrets.
Now, I think Tempered Steel has a pretty good matchup against Delver in general.
Right.
So it may not be that much that Nolen can do other than just try to do what his deck does and just clear the way for Delver.
I mean, it does seem like a Geist of St. Traft resolving here is going to be a problem for Michael Belfatto.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, okay, there's Shrine of Loyalty.
Okay, that was something I was wondering if he'd bring those in. It looks like he may have brought in. He has 3 in the sideboard. He may have brought them all in.
I like that card in this deck so much. It just seems dumb. Nolen hits his Delver flip, so he's got a big old bug on the board and cracks in for 3.
Blue Nakatl.
And he's going to stick, looks like he's going to stick Geist of St. Traft. Unless he just wants to hold up for Mana Leak, I guess, maybe. No, he's just going to run it out. Geist,
Yeah, put on the pressure.
to which Michael Belfatto is hopefully going to remember his Shrine Trigger, which he does. And so Belfatto has Origin Spellbomb, Memnite, Shrine. On
Tempered Steel here would be exactly what he would want, I would think.
And he's got them? Yep.
He looks like there it is. Tempered Steel.
There it is. Yep.
All right, and
Ouch.
Memnite looks to be getting in.
Right.
Shrine ticks up, that's right.
So this is going to be kind of interesting. Michael Belfatto attacks Nolen Loren down to...
What, 16?
16. Or...
Right.
Yeah, 16. But Nolen, at this point, is free to crack back for 9.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he swung in with the Memnite. I thought he'd want to leave something back to block the Geist just to get it off the table.
Yeah.
But Michael is happy to have landed a Tempered Steel
Yep. So...
and decides to take advantage of it right away.
Seems pretty reasonable. Passes back to Michael Belfatto, who ticks up his Shrine of Loyal Legions. So Michael also has the Gavany Township and Signal Pest.
Yeah, Signal Pest added to the board there.
Seems like a perfectly fine card right now. Just more guys to gum up the board and make Geist of St. Traft a less appealing proposition for Nolen Loren.
If I'm Nolen, though, I just keep swinging him with the Geist anyway.
Yeah, no question.
Because he's got a second one to back it up.
Yep.
And, all right, we have Dispatch for the Delver.
Yep. That's going to be kind of annoying, but Nolen does have the Moorland Haunt, so he's able to start cranking out the tiny dudes.
It's kind of like Delver just shrunk instead of got dispatched. Shrunk into a spirit.
Kenta Hiroki to the main event stage, please. Kenta Hiroki to the main event stage, please.
All right, so...
All right, Shrine ticking up here.
Yep. Man, that's going to get real ugly real quick.
Yeah, he's got enough to activate it, you know, when he's not tapped down, but he's got enough mana to activate it when he's ready, and that's just 1/1s that are affected by Tempered Steel, you know, becoming 3/3s. That's a lot of power to add to the board.
Yeah, I mean, people used to get excited about Call of the Wild, or Call of the Herd. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, with the
Where you just
3/3,
do, like a 3/3 and then
flash it back for another
3/3 next turn.
3/3.
This was just like, here, have all the 3/3s.
Yeah.
All of them.
All right, so Geist getting in again into the red zone. Now he's getting blocked, and
not
Spirit
even-
and an Angel.
Not even profitably. Like, I mean, so Nolan's going to vapor snag something here. Presumably the Memnite, I guess. Or, no, probably the Signal Pest.
Yeah, if he... I think the Signal Pest, because either one... No, he goes with the Memnite, okay. So, Michael loses one.
Yep. So Michael's going to go to 7. He's got... Oh! And
Oh, did he
there's
have double Vapor Snag? Was that one?
No, he had Dismember.
Oh, Dismember, okay.
Yep.
Didn't quite catch that. We just got a note that Michael received a warning for missing a Shrine Trigger.
Yep. Dispatch on the Angel token is actually going to get mana leaked by Nolen Loren. So Michael Belfatto is actually now, I
Attention
believe,
players registered for $10.
He should be down to, yeah, exactly. He should be down to 2.
So-
$10 number 20.
Looking pretty rough. Nolen able to kind of take advantage of things here, despite Michael actually resolving a Tempered Steel and having multiple guys on board. But this is still scary here, because He's got 6 counters on that shrine right now. He's got 6 counters on it. It went up to 5 last turn from him trying to cast that dispatch, and then, well, from him casting the dispatch,
Right.
and then 1 for the turn. So that's 6 3/3s.
So Linhawk Idol is going
First turn to the main
to
event stage, please.
buy Michael Belfatto a turn, but that turns,
All right. In, there's an angel.
and
And as soon as it becomes a creature, I think we saw, well, I didn't see what it was, but it must have been an answer for the Glynhawk Idol.
it looked like maybe a Divine Offering.
Could have been
but-
a Divine, I think it was a white card, so it could have been
Yeah.
Divine Offering, yeah. And
So-
going to game 3.
Going to game 3, we have 18 minutes and 39 seconds left on the clock here.
They
in
did a
round
pretty
number
good
7.
job there.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I think it was 30 minutes left and they were still in game 1, right? And
Right.
now they managed to
Yep.
sideboard pretty quickly and get that game over with in 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
Nolan looking a lot happier that his deck actually did what it's supposed to do, which is win, but secondarily actually play Delver and creature, Geist, and actually
Yeah,
play
yeah.
creatures and attack. It's an aggro deck, it's an aggro control deck, and he didn't see any of the aggro game 1.
Sure saw a lot of the control, though.
He did see a lot of the control, but it wasn't enough. He doesn't have enough of a late game to capitalize on stalling, right? Like the
Right.
control decks play all those cards so that they can get to the late game and go Sun Titan or Grave Titan or any
Elish Norn.
Elish Norn, like
Yeah.
any of these big spells. Cruel Ultimatum a couple years ago, right? Like
Yeah.
as we saw earlier today, Adam Prosak with Sorin's Vengeance. Well, he went Sorin, knock you to 10, Sorin's Vengeance the next turn. That was pretty sick. His opponent was at 25 at the time.
Well,
So he was at 25 and he goes, play Sorin, knock you to 10, and then the next turn, hit him for 10 with Sorin's Vengeance. No, and I mean old Sorin.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So, you're at 25? I'd like to meet my vampire friend here.
Right.
I think he's going to stick a big-ass sword through your chest, pardon my language.
For 15 first,
Oh.
right? And then
15 you,
And
10
then
you,
10 you, yeah.
GG?
that was pretty
Oh.
awesome. So just an update, because I talked to Adam a little while ago. He went 1-2 and dropped. That was his win. And it was pretty spectacular, but that was all the glory he was getting out of today's today's event.
But that's a story you run out for years.
That's nice. But yeah, so control decks are meant to have all that interaction, so they can get to the late game and stick a giant bomb or a lock or some sort of situation like that. But Nolan was stalling for what? Delvers? Like he stalled for a 1-drop until he drew his 1-drop that he should have had, on turn 1
Yeah.
or 2, hopefully. So it was like just not enough. He couldn't capitalize, even stalling. Which, the more I think about it, the more I wonder what you were wondering was why was he holding on for so long? Because what exactly could have gotten him into that game, gotten him back into that game? Maybe he did think a sword would do it. Maybe Rune Chanter's Pike. Maybe he thought he could manage to survive, get something, stick in equipment, and survive just long enough for those to get the game back within reach.
Sure.
Either way,
People
they've
also
got
don't like
16 minutes
conceding.
left. That's true too. Yeah. Sometimes you just want to see what you can do. And I admit that's definitely fun where you're like really up, against the wall and you're like, can I get out of this? And then
Yeah.
those times when you do, those are the best games. You're like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my gosh, I can't believe I, won the game on 1 life. I was on 1 life for 10 turns and,
Yeah.
then won the game. Something like that.
I was stubborn when I would play. I would, 14 years old, I got a white weenie deck. My opponent's like, Nether Void you, Gloom you, blow up all your lands. Would you like to concede? No.
Nope.
Nope, we're going to play. And,
Yeah.
2 hours later, I've lost. But
no, I know what you mean.
We're at 15 minutes remaining. Michael Belfatto is going to be on the play here, presumably.
And Gavany Township with a Signal Pest and a Mem Knight.
All right.
So good start for Belfatto.
That's healthy. It's going to be 2 points. Nolan's going to hit the turn 1 Delver. I'm sure he's happy to see that.
And both decks looking like they're doing exactly what they want to do on turn 1.
Which is really, I think, what you want to see in a match.
Exactly.
You don't want players drawing blanks,
Flooding
for
out or
10
anything like
turns,
that,
or
right?
Drawing 60% of the land in their deck. You want this kind of interaction. This is
Exactly.
This is going to be a good game.
You want strength against strength. You want, you know what I mean? You want the decks to to show their muscle and which one comes out on top when both decks and both players are getting what they need.
Yep. So Nolen Lauren untaps for his turn 2. He's got Moorland Haunt. Looks like his grip. There's definitely Mana Leak.
Yeah.
Looks like maybe a Divine Offering in there.
Ratchet Bomb.
Sure.
2 Ratchet Bombs, I think.
Oh.
Ratchet Bomb, Mana Leak, Divine Offering, is that?
Yeah, I think a
Snapcaster and something else. Possibly not a land.
Yeah, I mean, and there's Ratchet Bomb. What do you want to bomb here at this point, Joey?
Yeah, that's a good question. This is the situation I meant. Like, he's got a 0, a 1, and a 2.
Right.
So, what do you want to bomb?
Yeah.
Right now, the Signal Pest is doing no damage on its own, but it's pumping the Memnite, so, wow. Is that triple Gavany Township from Belfatto? That's not the kind of land, land draw that you want.
That's greedy.
Yeah.
That's real greedy.
Yeah, you wonder if he kept a hand with like 2 and just drew the 3rd, because keeping a hand with 3, I mean, if any deck though can do it, it's the deck that plays so many artifacts. So there's a Glinthawk Idol.
Yep. Now here's a bit of a challenge. Michael Belfatto got a warning last game for missing a trigger on his Shrine of Loyal Legions. Assuming that he's got no other infractions this tournament, if he misses it again, it'll be a second warning. But if he misses it a 3rd time, it's upgraded to game loss.
Right.
So if I'm Michael Belfatto here, I know that we don't have a lot of time left. We're in game 3. We're fairly deep in the tournament. I've got a lot of things I have to think about, and I don't want to miss my Shrine triggers.
Yeah.
But he's putting dice on top of his deck, so
yeah, that's definitely
that
good way to do it.
helps.
Yeah.
That definitely
And he's not
helps him.
casting white spells, at least not until he plays something that can produce white mana.
Yeah.
So he's safe there.
Sure.
If he gets all his upkeep triggers and doesn't cast a white spell, he's all right.
So Michael Belfatto's going to crack in with Pest Memnite.
Yeah, and meanwhile, just to mention, Nolen did pump up the Ratchet Bomb ratcheted up to 1 counter. I think at this point, what's appealing is killing the Shrine and the Glinthawk Idol.
Which seems fine.
Yeah, exactly. What's going to happen though? Michael wisely leaves up 3 mana, so if Nolen does decide to try to kill the Shrine, Michael gets 2 guys out of it.
Sure.
But he doesn't know that Nolen has a second Ratchet Bomb in play, or in his hand, I mean, which he can use to clean up the mess.
Yeah, he could basically go bomb you for 2.
Bomb you, and Michael responds, gets some guys.
Nolen rebuys on Ratchet Bomb for 0.
And
gets
Memnite and the 2 guys.
Yeah, so all of a sudden, Michael Belfatto's board is Signal Pest?
Yes, exactly, which does nothing by itself, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it can be blocked though.
Right.
If he hits a Tempered Steel, that's great, but he needs to also not only hit Tempered Steel, he needs 2 white mana. All right, so he's doing exactly what we thought. Ratchet Bomb, clean up the mess. His board is Signal Pest, Triple Gavany Township versus Delver, which has not yet flipped, by the way.
Right.
Delver just doing 1 a turn.
Yep.
So Michael's catching a break there.
We do know that Nolen Lauren has a Mana Leak in his hand. He's definitely representing it with the mana that he has up. 4.
Yeah, Michael
colorless
can
producing lands from Michael Belfatto.
He can cast a Masticore. Not a Tempered Steel.
I mean, you can cast Masticore.
I just tried to
if
think
it
of
was
the
legal.
most iconic 4-drop I could think of.
Grid Monitor.
I like Masticore. All right, so that
just
was
kidding.
a Vault Scourge
That was a Vault
almost hit the
Scourge.
table. Yeah, there's a Vault Scourge. Take
Michael
2.
Belfatto goes to 16.
Yeah. So that's a nice little Delver defender there.
Sure.
Once again, standard wood box.
Still not flipping on that.
We're going to get you started.
that Elder
Standard wood
sequence.
box.
Yeah, it's odd. We talked about how both players started off with like a great turn 1, and since then, both players. Now Michael's kind of really hit kind of a bad run of cards, or at least the land drops. Nolen's been able to do kind of a lot to slow Michael down, but he's not flipping his Delver, and that's kind of the point of the Delver deck. He doesn't even seem to have anything that's going to help him flip it. We haven't seen him cast like a Ponder or anything.
Right. Now,
Attention players,
it does seem kind of interesting when you look at Michael Belfatto's board. you know, you had hypothesized earlier, Joey, that he had probably kept a double township hand, which, considering what he's played, you know, he had the Mennonite, he had the Signal Pest, he had the Shrine, and the Glinthawk Idol.
Right.
It's not entirely unreasonable. It's not great, but you could argue that it's defensible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I understand the idea. Oh my gosh, Inkmoth Nexus. Now, Inkmoth Nexus actually may start to be relevant because he's got those Signal Pests. Yeah, and that's what's going to happen here.
And then we're all in on the poison plan.
So he can switch plans here and hopefully capitalize on that and let it carry him. Meanwhile, I just want to know what Nolen has, because he apparently isn't seeing any instants or sorceries.
Right.
Is Nolen just flooded? I mean, he has Mana Leak, he's just had it early. But, all right, Delver, and look.
One-time dealer. Oh,
no,
not even close.
I mean, there's no reason for him to slow roll it and go, yeah, this is an instant. This would flip the Delver, but I'm not going to show you just so you think that I don't have something. I don't really, like, that's a cool play and everything, but I think you'd rather have the 3/2 flyer.
Yeah, I mean, there is the cool play, but then there's also the play that just wins.
Right, exactly.
And when those two are the same thing, great, but if not, just win, man.
I think he has Dungeon Geists.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
I would love that, yeah.
So Nolen attacks with Delver of Secrets?
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
He's kind of offering up a potential trade with the Inkmoth Nexus. Yeah.
And Michael's just not going to see it. Or not.
He just didn't want to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Michael wants that anyway, because maybe, well.
Wow.
At this point, I activate both Inkmoths and swing in with the Signal Pests and the Inkmoths. This is, okay, that's what he does. And, alright, we have something going on here.
Yep.
Do we have, okay, pre-combat
Revoke existence
on the
Divine Offering.
Right.
Revoke.
Revoke's not the. Revoke is the one that.
That's still 4 poison in the air for Michael Belfatto, and Nolen Lauren is now going to be. Wow, Joe, he's actually dead on board next turn
because of the Inkmoth Nexuses.
Because of the Inkmoth Nexuses. And not Nexi, as was pointed out to me some time ago.
That's been discussed a couple times on...
Sorry, y'all, I was wrong.
I've done. Yeah.
It's Nexuses, even though that sounds really bad coming out of my mouth.
So... 6 minutes left in the round. Looks like it's going to end here.
Yeah, I mean... Gosh... Nolen Lauren he didn't flip.
He never flipped that Delver. What turn is it? And you know what I mean? Like, he's got 6 lands in play.
Right. So I
don't think he's missed a land drop.
No. So
he's had a lot of turns to flip that Delver and just
five turns with no Delver. He's running got to be maybe 70 instants in his deck. Something like that. 80. So
yeah. I mean, now you see why he was trying to offer the trade with the Inkmoth Nexus, but Michael wisely he wisely didn't notice the option to block, or wisely decided, no, these Inkmoth Nexuses are my path to victory here, because I'm not seeing any colored mana. And he had the Signal Pests, so that really makes it even more appealing to stick with the Inkmoth Nexuses.
Well, when you think about lines of play with a Tempered Steel deck, you know, you think about the ridiculous, like, bunch of Memnites and a Tempered Steel get in, you know, or maybe you grind out with Etched Champion. You don't think, you know what? I'm going to use Signal Path and Inkmoth Nexus to infect my opponent out of the game.
Exactly.
But that's probably what's going to happen here.
So Dungeon Geists, he did have indeed Dungeon Geists.
Oh my gosh, it's colored mana from Michael Belfatto.
Whoa.
Stop the presses.
Yeah, now he's actually going to get to play Magic. Signal Pest tapped down by the Dungeon Geist.
Is it enough?
Well, he can get in for 2 poison.
Can he stabilize? Does he have a reasonable expectation of stability here?
Well, he passes back. And
So I guess
Delver
Michael
flips
Belfatto-
finally.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
There it is.
Are the tides turning? Was that Dungeon Geist what Nolen needed to just stay alive just at the last possible moment?
I mean-
because Signal Pest being untapped would have killed him, right?
Yeah.
He would have taken 4 poison.
Yeah.
So now Delver takes to the skies. Dungeon Geist, alongside a Dungeon Geist holding that Signal Pest down. Michael did not attack with the Inkmoth Nexuses, I guess he was assuming he didn't want to lose one of them.
Sure.
And only get in for 1 poison. Figures he can maybe get a dispatch and get rid of the Geists and get the Signal Pest back, which he may actually already have a dispatch and may just not no reason to do it once the Signal Pest is already tapped during his turn. Wait until the end of Nolen's turn in case he needs to use it on something else.
Sure.
He can dispatch here and then untap during his untap step. So Geist of St. Traft for Nolen after Delver gets in for 3.
That's an acceptable card.
And
No Michael Belfatto, you may not
he
untap
tried to
that Signal
untap,
Pest.
so he did not have the dispatch there. At least didn't attempt to dispatch it. Someone asked on Twitter whether Nolen made a spirit token with Moorland Haunt off of a Delver that got dispatched. No, he made a spirit token off of a Delver that got Thought Scoured into the graveyard. He Snapcaster Thought Scoured Delver into the graveyard and then made a spirit. I'm pretty sure that's what you're thinking of. I hope I'm talking about the same point in time. Of course, we're not watching that match or that point live, so I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm.
Feline Longmore on Twitter asks why Nolan Lorne did not use Dungeon Geists to tap down an Inkmoth Nexus rather than the Signal Pest. And I'm pretty sure that Dungeon Geist is creature only. So that would probably be the explanation.
It's creature only, so he couldn't tap down the Inkmoth Nexuses because they weren't creatures at the time.
Right. So we have 2.5 minutes left here in round 7 of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open here in Cincinnati, by which I mean Sharonville.
Yeah, I know you said Sharonville
Ohio.
before, and I'm like, what do you mean Cincinnati? Oh, we're actually in Sharonville.
We're in Sharonville, where we're watching a kind of odd game, I gotta say.
Yeah, I love it though. It's kind of cool because it's going back and forth where it looks like Belfatto's getting so much bad luck, and then he draws double Inkmoth Nexus and goes with that plan, and then Nolen finally gets back into the game with a timely Dungeon Geist, which, if you're gonna draw a timely reinforcement, I'd like it to be Dungeon Geist.
Yes. Ricky Hayashi would be proud. So
I try. It's all for
Nolen
Ricky.
goes for the throat here with
Without playing Go for the Throat.
no. Dungeon Geist, Geist of St. Traft, Insectile Abomination, or Aberration, and the Angel token. He's got a buttload of mana up.
Yeah, basically what he sees here is he can. Well, how much would he do here? That would be everything,
it would be
right?
5, 8, 12. It would be enough to put Michael Belfatto on 1.
Yeah, so I wonder. Yeah, that's kind of. Does he have a Vapor Snag? Oh, they have a 5 extra minutes.
Oh, they have
because
5 extra
because they're
minutes.
under camera. Good point. Thanks, Jesse. They do have 5 extra minutes, but that's another thing. I wonder if he has a Vapor Snag to do that last point of damage.
He does, actually.
So that might be exactly what his plan is here. Get him to 12, or offer up situations where I'm not get him to 12. Hit him for 12.
Yep.
Hit him for as much as possible, or put him in a situation where he's losing his some of his force there.
Right. So
Again, Michael tries to untap the Signal Pest and realizes he can't.
I kind of reach through the screen, slap his hand, and go, "Stop that!"
No, I'd be doing it too, because you're just habit. Every other game of Magic you're untapping, and then suddenly, I can't. So,
And there's timely reinforcements from Michael Belfatto.
now that is a nice timely reinforcement to draw there.
But Nolan Lorne does have Mana Leak. I think he has a Snapcaster.
If he goes
So
Mana
he
Leak,
could
Snapcaster,
go
Mana Leak, right?
Yeah, I mean that is a
He'd
viable
have
line.
to. Well, he'd play the Mana Leak. Michael pays, which theoretically he would do. Snapcaster, Mana Leak. Michael just has 1 chump blocker and probably dies next turn. So I just think if he has Mana Leak, I'd play it here.
Yeah. So we see now.
If he has Snapcaster, he has to have the Snapcaster too, though, because
Yep. Well, even just mana leaking it here puts
So he has to pay.
Shuts off the Inkmoth Nexi,
Right.
or Nexuses.
Where was the third mana? Is there something off camera?
It was...
Find out, because he just tapped 2 lands for that mana leak.
Yep.
Unless he tapped another land that's off camera under his name.
Yep. So, if Nolen actually has...
What is
that's
it?
gotta be a Snapcaster.
Okay, so there's a card there. Tell him, move it further in. Still don't know what that is, but... Okay, so he pays, and that resolves.
Sure. Now, actually, at this point, no, I mean, Michael Belfatto's just kind of cold here. If Nolen bounces the Signal Pest, Vapor Snags the Signal Pest, or the
Signal Pest
the
not attacking,
Vault Scourge. Now, Michael's at 12.
Yeah, I think you're right. I still think... Oh, never mind. He's at 12. I'm thinking... I'm doing the math for him at being at 6. I'm like, he's dead.
That was an incredibly timely reinforcement for her.
Yeah, I mean, both players have gotten a nice top deck at just the right time.
Yep. So we have those of you
All
who
right,
may
so
have
there's Vapor Snag.
Yep, Vapor Snag sends Vault Scourge back.
Michael goes to 11. He's going to take 6. He's going to take 10 from Flyers, right? He doesn't have any blockers, any guys that can block Flyers, right?
Yep. So he's actually at 11 right now. If he has a way to deal 1 more damage.
Oh, Snapcaster Mage. Oh, Snapcaster Vapor Snag.
Oh.
Bounce to your thing. You go to 10. You're going to take 10 from Flyers right here because he's got Dungeon Geist.
Wow.
Insectile Aberration, and then the Angel token that presumably comes in here.
Wow.
You know, barring the end of the world right now or something. Angel token.
Nolen swings in and
takes 10.
GG.
Exactly. Whoa.
Wow.
That was a nice game. That whole match was weird.
Intense. I told you it was going to be a good game.
Yeah, that was.
I told you, didn't I?
It started off good, and then it got real weird in the middle,
Yeah.
and then both players got right back into it. And
Signal Pests and Inkmoth Nexuses.
Dungeon Geist